The Calradian Empire has been in a long state of decay. Invasions have weakened the Empire, and their enemies have been taking land piece by piece. Internal strife has also left Calradians in a vulnerable state. To make a bad situation worse, the Calradian Emperor Arenikos has just been murdered by an unknown assassin, and due to his reluctance to name an heir, the whole empire has exploded into a civil war. To the north, the Calradian Senate under the leadership of Lukon claimed to be the true heirs to the empire and wished to restore the ancient rule by Senate. Before his death, Emperor Arenikos had supported republican ideals of the past and empowered the nobles of the Senate. The Southern Empire is led by the widow of Emperor Arenikos, Empress Regea, who claims that hereditary rule is the only legitimate choice and that the Emperor's daughter should rule once she comes of age. The Western Empire is commanded by Garios, a prominent general who fought against the enemies of Calradia his entire life. His men rallied around him in his call for imperial conquest, and they believe that he should rule because only he is strong enough to defend the empire. With a new civil war already started, the weakened empire is in a precarious position. Far to the south is the Sultanate of Azerai, ruled by Sultan Unquid, who rules over the Bronze Desert called Nahassa. The lands of Azerai were recently a collection of various rulers, each with their own petty fiefdoms. But with the weakened empire to their north, they have band together as a confederacy, electing a sultan from among the richest clan. The surrounding desert acts as a shield of aggression from the Empire, who wouldn't dare send their legions to be harassed by the expert Azerai cavalry and be cut off from their own supply lines. Instead, the Empire has previously suppressed the Azerai by establishing power in the region through making clients and allies among the clans, keeping them divided among themselves. Now that the Azerai are united, they look poised for conquest. But the Sultan must always be wary of the many other ambitious clans. In the dense forest northwest of the Empire is the home of the Battalions, who are the native people to most of Calradia. The Battalion people are strong warriors and are masters of archery and ambush attacks, an essential combination as they have been subject to relentless raids and invasions from neighbors in every direction. Throughout the long history of Battania, there has always been a crowned High King at the capital of Dunmanog. Their current High King is Caladog. Their High King is a fierce warrior, and like many of his people, he idolizes valor above all else. But the position of High King holds less authority than many other rulers. It's said that if you go to any Battanian hill fort and ask the local noble, "Whose kingdom do you live in?" his reply would be, "Mine, of course." The High King Caladog has made efforts to centralize power and increase his authority, but time will tell if it's enough to stabilize the Battanians against their numerous foes. To the far north in the frozen woodlands is the warlike people of Sturgia, who have mastered raiding with their excellent swordsmen and axemen. The many different cultures that make up Sturgia joined into a confederation just 100 years ago. Though Sturgians are fiercely against monarchy, they are led by a prince named Ragenbad. The title prince was traditionally used for military leaders, but in recent years has effectively come to mean king. Over the last centuries, Sturgia has grown rich from trade, with people venturing from the south to purchase honey, iron, and most importantly, furs. Their woodlands have proven to be a very valuable resource, as the fur trade has founded many major towns along the rivers, which saw huge economic growth from the trade. Ironically, their own wealthy lands could be the target of many raiders. On the western coast is the Kingdom of Vlandia, ruled by King Derthert. The Vlandian people are not natives to Calradia and came from overseas to seek their fortune as mercenaries. They came to be known as Vlandians after their most famous warlord, Viland the Bold, or Valandian in Calradic, gained fame throughout Calradia. Not long ago, the Vlandians were loyal mercenaries to the Empire. Their heavy cavalry fought alongside the Empire's soldiers against the Azerai, the Battanians, and other enemies. As time went on, the Empire could no longer afford to pay large amounts of silver to their Vlandian mercenaries. Instead, the Emperor would pay in land. But over time, the Vlandians occupying this land formed families, built houses, farms, and fortresses, and became a very powerful faction within the Empire. When the time came, it was relatively easy for King Ulsric Ironarm to rally his barons and declare himself king. He captured the old imperial capital of Baravanos and secured much of the Western Empire. Now, with the Empire once again in shambles, the Vlandians may again take more of the Empire, but internal strife between the Rhodoks and the Nords may prove a challenge. In the eastern steppe is the Khuzaites, renowned for their horsemen and their archers who've prospered from raiding the Empire. The Empire had not taken these raids lightly. Many ambitious would-be Khans ended up perishing from the blades of an assassin, or found themselves at the mercy of another ambitious clan paid by the Empire. However, just 2 generations ago there was major change. Due to another conqueror rising further east, the nomadic tribes consolidated under the rule of Khan Urkun and expanded westward rather than be crushed in the eastern conquest. Now the land that the Khuzaites once raided is the land they call home, and after the death of the Great Khan, the stability amongst the various clans has lessened. His descendant Khan Munchug still rules, but many of the clan leaders have aspirations to become the next Khan. Thank you for watching. I'll be hosting a Bannerlord giveaway starting in the next few days, so stick around to be notified for that. Hope to see you next time. Goodbye.